Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. We have more crypto news to talk about. More news is going on generally speaking with the world that is not good to hear, but it is important that we know what's going on. And we'll also be taking a look at the price charts for both Bitcoin and XRP. So let's go ahead and start with the latest going on with Bitcoin. The Bitcoin Fear and Greed Index is now sitting at 20 extreme fear. We were right on the verge of moving out of fear, going into more of a neutral territory, but lo and behold, we do get some bad news and the markets are reacting to this and we are starting to drop once again. So we are not towards the single digits just yet. We do have some wiggle room. We are still sitting above $60,000, which is a good thing. We even have a little bit of a gap there. And let's go ahead and look at the price movement. So Bitcoin is at $62,100 while I'm recording the video, down 1.88% on the day. At one point, we saw it down at $61,500. We have some wiggle room before this potentially tries to retest $60,000. Keep in mind the last time we were at $60,000 was back on July 2nd. So it's about 1 week ago. It's not like it's a super long time ago. It's still within the month. July, we'll have to see how it officially plays out for the rest of the month because we still have quite a few weeks left. But as it is right now, a big thing is that we saw this nice climb up. We had 6 days in a row that closed out green. It is not surprising to see that the next day was red. Frankly, it's not that surprising to see that we have some more selling pressure taking place today. However, what is really important here is the Fibonacci retracement zone at $63,150. So right at that zone when we broke above, things are looking pretty good. We actually had 3 daily candle closures above that level. When I zoom in a bit more here, you can see that the third day, it barely closed above it. So 3 days is considered a strong trend. 2 week trend. So we had a formation of a weak trend, barely getting into a strong trend, and then a bit of a drop here. I would suspect that we might end up seeing this reverse, have a little bit of a bounce, starting to come up and retest around 63,100 and well, $63,200 or so, right? If we can break above that, then we might actually see a further continuation up. As it is right now, though, this line has been essentially a central point. We zoom out a bit, we can see that there was a big drop that took place back here in the early part of June. A little bit of a climb, drop, once again climbing back up to mid-June. A further drop, just going all the way down until, guess what, July started. Once July started, trying to make it look like it's fireworks, doing pretty good. And then once again, we got some bad news, markets reacting negatively, a little bit of a pullback here. Volume itself, we can actually see what's going on there. It is more than the weekend. That's not surprising. As it is right now, we might pass the volume for the day on yesterday, Tuesday. As far as Monday goes, though, maybe not. We might not go as much there, right? So the candle itself looks pretty deep. Might just have a bit more selling pressure than buying pressure, but volume itself is doing okay. We've got some huge candles that took place before, like back on July 2nd, back here on June 26th, and we're not seeing as major of a move currently. So let's go ahead and talk about some key points. Iran says it will fully close the Strait of Hormuz to all maritime traffic as soon as the United States attacks again, and has now adopted a new military and strategic doctrine over the past 48 hours. This is per Press TV. Trump has already said the U.S. will strike Iran again tonight, meaning the strait will be closed in the coming hours. Iran says it will also strike U.S. and other enemy targets at a ratio of at least 2 to 1. For every Iranian target hit, at least 2 U.S. targets will be struck in return. Very important to note here, they are claiming at least 2. So there's no clear definition of, hey, you do this, you're going to get exactly this much back. It's a bit unpredictable. The only thing that sounds predictable is what Trump is claiming, which is that supposedly he's going to attack again tonight. So a lot of projection there. Up next, this is 22 trillion European financial giant just added XRP. Clearstream, the post-trade arm of Deutsche Börse, an operator of Germany's largest stock exchange, added XRP to its regulated crypto custody platform, holding 22 trillion euros in assets and connecting 60 markets worldwide. Fully compliant under Europe's MiCA framework, crypto finance at Deutsche Börse entity serves as sub-custodian. XRP added alongside Cardano, Solana, Litecoin, XLM, and AVAX, joining Bitcoin and Ethereum. opens the door to MiCA-compliant XRP ETPs and institutional access across Europe. Once a trusted custodian holds an asset, the floodgates open. Germany's financial backbone just said XRP belongs. The institutions aren't coming, they're already here. And earlier, you had $500 billion wiped out from the US stock markets. That was at open. That's after Trump said that the MOU with Iran is over. And from Dark Defender, he says, deja vu. XRP pattern is imitating the one on November 4th, 2024. Locked in. God bless. And from Cassie Trades levels I've been talking about for months. XRP's come right back down to test the major 0.786 retracement at $1.09. That's on Coinbase's side. As I've said repeatedly, this is a major macro level. Markets don't just touch levels like this one once and immediately move on. Since the beginning of June, XRP has spent weeks pulling liquidity from the area. Every test helps exhaust supply and selling pressure. The most likely scenario is we eventually break toward the 87-cent support. I hope that's not true. We might end up seeing that. Still worried about the death cross that was being talked about with Bitcoin. While many have been calling bottoms throughout this entire correlation on every green candle, I've consistently argued that XRP would likely need a test of $1.09 or 87 cents before a true macro pivot could occur, and here we are. We're no longer talking about hypothetical levels, we're sitting on them. Deutsche Börse, operator Germany's largest stock exchange, as I mentioned, adds XRP to its Clearstream digital asset custody platform. $600 billion wiped out. XRP University of Kansas, history on a jersey patch. The first ever crypto sponsorship of a major college athletics program starts today. And Brad Garlinghouse actually chimed in on this. He said this is a rare moment where his professional and personal worlds collide. XRP is now the first crypto on the jersey of a major college athletics program at his alma mater. XRP family meet the Jayhawks. Rock chalk. Clarity Act update. Big. July 13th to July 17th. Senate procedural vote and final floor vote on Clarity Act. July 20th to the 24th. U.S. House will work on finalizing the reconciliation on the Clarity Act with U.S. Senate. July 27th to August 7th, President Trump can sign the Clarity Act into law if it passes. Right now, people are becoming pretty pessimistic about this. So the odds of this passing between July 27th and August 7th seem pretty low at this point. And by the way, in case you don't know why, it's because Democrats are really pointing out the fact that what happened with President Trump's crypto movements look extremely suspicious, and they want to have a little bit more insight on what's going on there. So the biggest competitor to banks isn't Bitcoin, it's the XRP ledger. Banks profit from every transfer, the XRP ledger does not. Every international wire pays for an outdated system. Banks take a cut, the XRP ledger delivers the full amount. Traditional banking quietly takes fees. The XRP ledger quietly removes them. The difference is measured in money you never knew you lost. Every bank transfer is a reminder why the XRP ledger was built. And in a sudden turn of events, Brent crude oil prices are back above $80 a barrel. If things continue on this path, we might end up seeing it pass $100. Russia has officially banned the export of diesel fuel. This is due to a collapse of capacity from the Ukrainian drone strikes. There's a crypto exchange called BTCC. If you guys haven't heard of this, it's been around for 13 years. You get access to over 300 crypto futures, up to 250x leverage, and there's no VPN or KYC required. You get bonuses, and if you want to check this out more, you can find my referral link down in the description below. Bitcoin just flashed a rare signal. The last time this happened, Bitcoin rallied over 600%. And also, we essentially already talked about that one. We just surpassed 1 million agentic payments via X402 on the XRP ledger. Time to double down. XRPL AI Hub is a comprehensive new ecosystem platform for builders, users, and enthusiasts. Welcome to the agentic economy on the XRP ledger. And looking at the price movement for XRP, we are below $1.10. We already have 2 days of closure in the red. Almost 3. Sunday was pretty close to turning red. But as it is right now, we're down 2.5%. We have a low at 107. So we are below $1.10, which is not great. And if this continues to drop, of course, the eyes are going to be on $1. We got really close to that back here on June 26th and June 25th. Starting to pull back a little bit. Not an ideal situation by any means. The Bollinger Band continuing to converge there a tad bit more. And also what's really important to note is on the Fibonacci retracement between $1.40 and 87 cents, we're actually below the median line. So right now we're closer to hitting 86 cents than if we were to try and make a climb going back up to $1.40. But if we zoom out, it's also important to note that there's been a lot of selling pressure going on for quite a long time. We're talking about almost a year. I don't know if the mentality of this is saying, hey, let's see what it does up until the 1 year point, and then maybe it starts to make a rally. But as it is, there's been so much selling pressure for about a year now that it might be getting dried out. We'll have to see how things continue to play out. And that's what I got for you today. So don't forget to hit subscribe. Thank you to my Patreon supporters and my YouTube members. God bless you guys. We'll see you in the next video. Peace.